Sound off in the beginning, we ain't losing, we back to winning. Hometown love, been repping from the start. Nothing but Niners, red and gold in my heart.
What is going on, faithfuls? This is your boy Nick over here, Nothing But Niners. Hey, we got another trivia coming today. Round 1, matchup 5. We got Scott in here, Nothing But Niners crew writer as well. What's going on, Scott? Going on, buddy? And all right, so our two contestants today, guys, we got Brian and Steve. All right, they're going to battle it out today to see who makes it to round 2, see who's going for that jersey of their choice. So, Brian, what's going on, buddy? How's everything going?
It's going good.
So what's going on, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, my name's Brian Branham. I'm from Commerce, Texas. It's a small town about 60 miles east of Dallas. So just growing up, I started to be a Niners fan around age 6, and mostly just because I'm an antagonist in life and everyone here is a Cowboys fan. So I just like to get under their skin. Same thing. I'm an Oklahoma Sooners fan. Everybody here is a Longhorns fan. So that's just the way I roll. Favorite memories, just at Texas Stadium. I've been to several games. Saw Jerry Rice score a touchdown right in front of me in a regular season game in 94, 95. And I was at the game where Terrell Owens stood in the star. So that was pretty awesome. I stood up in my chair and squatted down and said he should act like he was on it. And they started throwing ice at me. So that was pretty good.
That's an awesome memory to have, man. I can remember that, that first time, and then whatchamacallit ran down and tried to do it again. And then, man, that's a great memory, man. And it's awesome that you're from Texas, man, and you're a diehard fan. So I appreciate that. I'm respectful of that. And, hey, man, it's always good to support your Niners, especially in a rivalry territory like that. So, Steve, what's going on with you, man? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? So I am from Jersey, Jersey towards New York City. Been a lifelong Niners fan since essentially '94 when they won the Super Bowl. I have to say, favorite memory would be the 2011 divisional game against the Saints. And that would be my boy, Justin Smith, with that, just dragging Drew Brees down with the offensive line at the same time. I couldn't stop watching that.
Yeah, that's a great memory too, man. And the Vernon catch too in that one too. So that was really, really good too. So I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm actually from Burlington County, kind of central, about 20 minutes south of Trenton. So that's where I was originally born and raised. So that's cool. Jersey roots, man. So, all right, guys. So we've all decided that we're going to discuss some things here. And Scott, we're going to talk about the defensive line casualties that you think. And I know you wrote some articles on this as well. So if you guys haven't checked out Scott's articles, go to nothingbutniners.com. Check out his articles. Always great. And, he's really, really into it, digs deep into things, and it's a great read. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go to nothingbutniners.com. Check out all the articles on there. You got Ali writing over there, Scott writing over there, Zach writing over there, Mike writing over there. I wrote a piece on kickers, and I know everybody doesn't love kickers, but it's actually, a thing that we need, special teams in football games. So what we'll do is, so Scott, lead us off here. What do you think are the casualties or biggest casualty that you think is going to be on a defensive line this year?
So for me, I think the biggest casualty is going to be Aaron Lynch. I think he's overweight. They've got alternative options now, kind of hand in the dirt. Leo, edge rusher. He needed to come to train sort of the OTAs and stuff in tip-top shape to kind of put himself in the running for that position. He hasn't done that. He's got a real uphill battle on his hands now to kind of show up at training camp and do a good job in preseason as well. And I don't think he's going to do it.
Okay, so you're saying Aaron Lynch because of overweight, differences of putting his hand in the ground, the possibilities of more competition at the Leo position. Brian, what do you think about that? What are your choices of your casualties on that?
Well, I do think that Aaron Lynch is in danger. I think he's going to pull through and make the team, though. I would watch for Quentin Dial to be cut. I think he's more of a base down player. He's not really good for pass rush, and it's going to come down to versatility. So I think Quentin Dial's in danger. I think maybe Ronald Blair's in danger, and I think Lynch is in danger.
No way, not Ronald Blair.
I do like Blair to make the team because of his versatility, but I think he's close. They're only going to be able to keep, 8 players?
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to get rid of a pick that you just drafted, and hasn't even really had a chance to hit the field yet. This is the time that the rookies are going to get their chance and be able to shine. And I'm not saying that I do disagree with you. So I'm not going to agree with you that Ronald Blair, but I can agree with you on Aaron Lynch, and I can agree with you to a point on Quentin Dial. Quentin Dial makes this team year after year for some reason. You know what I mean? I'm not sure why. But I can't agree with you on Blair. Blair is versatile. He's going to be – we haven't even really had a chance to see him. And I've said this on our podcast, and I've said this on numerous videos, is Ronald Blair isn't as good as this player I'm about to compare him to, but he has tendencies that I see that Bryant Young had when he was young. The moves, his swing moves, the way he moves his arms, the utilization of his speed, plus his power reminds me of a Bryant Young, like a young Bryant Young. Not saying that he's as good as Bryant Young, nowhere near, but he has a lot to learn. But tendencies that I see in him, I think that he's going to be that type of player. So I can't agree with you with Ronald Blair. But Steve, what do you think about that? Ronald Blair and Quentin Dial.
So I'm definitely in the same boat as Ronald Blair is going to be sticking around. He's versatile. He could definitely line up in multiple spots. Quentin Dial, on the other hand, he kind of has that, but at the same time, I think with the move over to a 4-3, you're not going to see him sticking around as much. As well as, obviously, I think Aaron Lynch is going. I think his time as a 49er is done. Okay, Scott. What are your thoughts on it, other than Aaron Lynch? You in agreement with the Ronald Blair?
Ronald Blair, I'm not sure. I'll start with Dial. I agree on Dial because I don't necessarily think he fits in at nose tackle. I think you've got Mitchell could fit at nose tackle, Chris Jones could fit at nose tackle, and they've got DJ Jones as well. So he's not really a nose tackle, and he's also not really a 3-tech defensive tackle. You'd rather have Buckner there. You'd rather have Thomas there. You'd probably rather have Blair there in some nickel packages, that kind of thing. You could even have Armstead there. So there are these guys who would play that role. So where does Dial fit? I'm not sure he does. And then Blair's a really interesting one because he's probably a strong side defensive end. And the problem that you've got is they've had Carradine, who's been at the strong side defensive end all off season, has been the starter there. And Solomon Thomas is going to presumably come in during training camp and either be the starter straight away, sort of by the time we get to the regular season, or at some point, probably within the first 5 weeks, we're going to see him starting at strong side end. And then you wonder where Blair fits in that sort of rotation. And I think for me, it just depends how many linebackers they keep and how many safeties, because I think they want to keep Blair because of his versatility and the quality he's shown. But it's whether or not they've actually got the numbers of guys on the roster. Because I think it was, as Brian said, we're probably going to keep 8 or 9 guys. So it's just going to be where are the numbers?
Right. Yeah, no, see, and it's funny because you mentioned a name in there that I thought people were going to mention, and that was Carradine. Like, I thought one of yous were going to say it because, that's been the topic of discussion on here over at Nothing But Niners is, is Tank going to make this team? Where does he fit? Where, what position? We have so much defensive line. We're so defensive line heavy right now that there's so many people that could be cut that we have no clue of what's going on. And I mean, it's going to tell the truth when the pads start coming on. But I was really surprised that you guys didn't say Tank Carradine. What are your thoughts, Brian, on Tank Carradine?
Yeah, Tank. I think that if we don't draft Solomon Thomas, he's probably going to be a starter in the defense that they're running now. I think he's going to be a a right defensive end and probably start if it's not for Solomon Thomas. So I think they have to keep him. I think he's more of a 4-3 player, and I think he fits in this defense a lot better than he ever did the 3-4. And just to clarify on Blair, I do think he's going to make the team, but I just think he's a bubble guy. I just think he's going to be one of the last ones that make it. Because as Scott said, they're only going to be able to keep 8 guys, maybe 9, but that's a lot of defensive linemen. So, but I do think Tank will make the team.
Okay. We got an agreement in Tank making the team and an agreement saying that Blair's going to be on the bubble. And if you remember, Salah said that these players are not going to play 1,000 snaps again this year. So there's going to be rotation. So I do think that we're going to have more defensive linemen than we think this year, but it depends on versatility. And so what is your Steve? What is your thoughts on the Tank Carradine?
I think he's finally in the situation that he was drafted for. You know, he was a defensive end at Florida State, and now that he's back in a 4-3, I think he's going to take, you know, just endless strides and be that player who we all thought he should have been when we drafted him.
A lot of high hopes for Tank, huh?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm not a Tank hater, but I mean, I do agree that this is a position that he can fit in on. So I'm not going to say that he's going to get cut because I'm not quite sure yet. But like I said, once training camp comes up, it's going to tell us a lot. Once the pads get on, we start hearing more and more reports. So, Scott, what do you think, man? What are your overall thoughts of this whole defensive line?
So I just, before we went on, I kind of wrote down a few names of guys, and I think we've got 4 locks. You've got Buckner, Thomas, Armstead, and Mitchell are probably the locks. And then Dumerville's probably like the strongest bubble guy in terms of getting on the roster. There's a high chance he's going to go on as a pass rusher. They obviously think he can produce, so that's why they went and signed him. And then after that, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys on the roster who are all kind of competing for probably 4, maybe as many as 5 spots, depending on how many people they keep and sort of how versatile they are. I think DJ Jones probably makes it. I think Chris Jones probably makes it. I think Carradine makes it because he's been the starting strong side end until now. And then suddenly that's 3 guys. And now you're like between Blair, Lynch, Dial, Tamo Penu, and I think it's Chawukwo, Noble Chawukwo, another sort of defensive lineman who they drafted. I definitely botched that name. But he was looking at NFL Network, they thought he was a 5th or 6th rounder that we got as an undrafted free agent. So there's just another guy kind of sitting there, and they've got a lot of options, and a lot of them are quite similar as well. So I think it's going to be a case of who's going to really put their hand up in training camp and preseason to really say, I need to make the 53. And in some cases, it's you can't try and stash me in the practice squad because someone else will take me. Or in other cases, it's am I an expendable? Well, these guys essentially need to make themselves unexpendable.
Okay, yeah, it looked like we lost you for a second there, but it's all good. But yeah, so I agree with you, Scott. I think that Dumerville is going to be like the biggest bubble guy on this team. But either way, I think we're set this year. Like, I think we are actually building the future of this defensive line. There's not anybody that scares me to where I think that they need to go. And I'm not going to sit here and say that there's people that I say that need to make the team. Obviously, your Armsteads, your Buckners, your Thomas. Even Earl Mitchell is going to be a huge pickup for us. He's really under the radar since we signed him because he was one of the first people we signed. Then draft came, and, Earl Mitchell's a great run stopper, which we had issues with. I believe that this defense is going to be a lot more aggressive, not playing that sit back type, let me pin up with somebody, read the play, 2 seconds, and then react kind of play. So I do agree with all of that. So, but anything else you guys want to add on the defensive line casualties? Who's your surprise cut? If you had one veteran to be cut, who's it going to be? let's start off with Steve with this.
As much as I'd like to say Ahmad Brooks over the years, because it seems like every offseason, Ahmad Brooks is going to get cut, and then he doesn't. Aaron Lynch or Chris Jones, I think, might end up getting the axe that we all kind of like, he's going to make the team, but at the end of the day, there just might not be enough spots.
Okay, so there you have it from Steve. So we'll just go right in order here. So, Scott, what do you think? Give a veteran cut. I mean, you're obviously going to say Aaron Lynch. We know that. Do you have any other surprise ones?
Just on the D line.
Yeah, just the D line.
Yeah, so probably the other one would be Dial.
Dial.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, boys. I think we might have lost Nick there. So we'll go on to Brian. You got any surprise cuts, Brian? Other than the guys that we've said, or?
No, I think Dial's gonna get cut, and I actually think Aaron Lynch is gonna make the team, but he's definitely on the bubble. But I think he's gonna make the team. He's just too talented.
Yeah, I think it's one of those interesting ones where he played the 4-3 at college. He's got the experience in sort of as a hand in the dirt pass rusher. Appears overweight. Has he been sort of wrongly utilized, kind of incorrectly in the 3-4? The fact that he was ever dropping back in coverage, was he just a straight up edge rusher? These questions that he's got to answer, and it's interesting that for me personally, he's just not put himself in a position to be able to answer them by being overweight. That'd be my take on it. And I think kind of with all these sort of competitions, you think that one of the guys in the group chat was talking about how surely it's their job to be fit and in shape, and we're just how on earth did they kind of allow themselves to get into that situation? Are there any other guys, any of the young guys who you are excited to see potentially make the roster? Not the early draft picks, not like Thomas, but any of like the Chris Jones, Tamu Penu, Chawukwu, any of those guys like that? Brian?
Oh, for me, I'm excited about DJ Jones. They say he's a freakish athlete. I saw the video of him dunking the basketball. That's pretty impressive for a 300-plus pound dude. And also, I don't know how you pronounce it, the guy from Utah, the end, Pita Tampiano. I don't know how you pronounce it. I butchered his name, I'm sure, like you did with Noble earlier, but I'm excited about both of those guys. And it's going to be hard to hide either one of them on the practice squad. So you wonder if they're going to fill a spot that a veteran like a Aaron Lynch or a Quentin Dial could have taken.
Yeah, that's something I've thought about for sure. Just can't get him onto the practice squad, so get him on the 53. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely Pita Tomopenu that he's got to bulk up a little bit, but I could definitely see him coming off the edge, really racking up some good sacks. And unfortunately, as much as I'd like to see Noble, I'm going to try it. Chukwu, I think I might got it. But I just don't see him making it. And I think we lose him if we try to put him on the practice squad.
Yeah, it'll be certainly interesting to see. And we've got a lot of new guys, new scheme. Just going to be cool to see them all kind of crack on. And preseason's going to be exciting, I think, to see kind of a lot of the young guys get a whole load of snaps, because they've probably got quite a few of the older guys who they'll know probably by the end of game 2 where they're going with them. So probably by 3 or 4 preseason, we're going to see some seriously young blokes playing with like their heads on fire, trying to make that 53, because they're going to have a real fight on their hands to do so. And I think, so talk about new guys, this moves us quite nicely onto wide receivers. There's another area we want to was the new wideouts, old wideouts. Who do we see making the roster there? Because there's going to be a real battle again. So how about we'll start with you, Steve. Who's your surprise make of the roster? And who would be your surprise cut of the roster for the wide receivers?
So my surprise make is actually, what is it? B.J. Johnson. You know, that's the guy who they cut Katie Cannon for. I think, you know, especially with the wide receivers lacking height, with him being 6'1", unfortunately 6'1" is probably going to be one of the tallest receivers that we have. You know, probably surprise cut. You know, as much as potential that he actually had, I think Bruce Ellington is done as a 49er. You know, either he's hurt, and I think it's come to the point where between Aldrick Robinson and Marquise Goodwin, you don't need a Bruce Ellington anymore.
Yeah, I think you've got to tell that. Is it Michael Ali, Nick, who is getting a Bruce Ellington shirt from the other one if they make the roster? Some of the guys have a bet. There's Dante Johnson and Bruce Ellington, and I think Mike's getting a Dante Johnson shirt if he makes the roster.
Yeah. If Ellington makes the roster, yeah.
Yeah, Ali's getting a Bruce Ellington shirt, which not sure anyone really wants one, but he can get one if Bruce Ellington makes the roster. It's interesting about size, Steve. What about DeAndre Smelter? You don't see him making the roster as a bigger guy?
You know, he's coming out of Georgia Tech, and yeah, he was hurt, but he still hasn't had, you know, a true NFL system, you know, to actually learn and thrive in, because they had such a weird system over at Georgia Tech that I think what they could try to do, see how he does, but I think at the end, B.J. Johnson's going to beat him out. Maybe they try to sneak, if he's eligible, Smelter onto the practice squad again.
Yeah, I think he probably is, because he's not had 2 accrued seasons. Because of the first season he was on IR, I think. What about you, Brian? Any thoughts? Surprise make, surprise cut for the Whiteouts?
Well, actually, Steven had some of the same points that I was going to make. I'm pretty sure Ellington's going to get cut. He's always hurt. He's a slot receiver, and you've got Trent Taylor and Curley, who are, in my mind, both pretty well locks. I just Ellington and the size, and also maybe Aaron Burbridge is also 6 foot. So I think he's a tough guy. He can catch the ball in traffic. I think Burbridge has at last receiver spot.
So I think we might have lost you a little bit there, Brian. So from what I got, Burbridge, you think is going to sneak on?
Yeah, I think that spot is going to be either Burbridge or B.J. Johnson.
Yeah, so they're the surprise makes. And then, yeah, we kind of think Ellington. Any of the new guys, do we think there's any chance that someone like an Aldrick Robinson doesn't make it? Or do you think his grounding in the new scheme means that he's a dead cert to make the roster?
I think he'll make it.
Yeah. Cool. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's Garcon, Goodwin, Robinson, Curley, Taylor, and then the last spot's up for grabs.
Got you. Yeah, and seems pretty legit to me, to be honest with you. What about you, Nick? Any variations on this? I know you're a Taylor man through and through. He's your man crush, right?
Yeah, he definitely is my man crush. The guy can really create separation. His size is going to be good during the red zone for those quick, you know, plant and go to the left or plant and go to the right, make separation, quick throws to his size. He's smaller, harder for a quarterback to get targets on, but better against a defender. So he definitely has quick feet. He definitely is he's definitely my man crush. But
any surprise makes? Any of the guys further down the roster you reckon not called B.J. Johnson? Any of the other guys that we've maybe talked about? Smelter, Burbridge.
I think Burbridge makes it over Smelter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Ellington has more highlight plays of injuries than he does for anything on the NFL. Any other type of play.
Yeah, so he's a goner. So he'll Bruce Ellington. That's up to Bruce to prove us wrong. He'll probably block us all on Twitter.
That's okay.
For saying this, but it's up to him to prove us wrong, I think, at this point. Again, hopefully we might get some highlight reel plays in pre-season as he desperately tries to make the 53 and pulls his hamstring halfway between the 40 and the 50. So who knows? We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think, Nikki, it's quiz time, mate.
Yeah, man. I can hear. Does anybody else hear feedback? Because I'm getting a lot of me talking back. So try to mute your thing real quick, Scott. Let me see. Yeah, I can't hear it now. Can you guys still hear me? All right, cool. All right, so we are going to get started for this quiz now that we went through the defensive line and we went through the wide receiver core. So I want to apologize for me cutting out like that. Had a power surge. Probably somebody hit a pole or something and lost the internet real fast, so it shut everything down. So, all right. So what we'll do here first is we'll do a practice question first. You guys know how this works. So each contestant has 10 seconds to answer the question. Once you answer the question, pull it up, show the answer to the backside of you. Don't show it to us. We'll call on your name to show your answer, and then we will answer the question correctly once both contestants have answered. So go ahead and unmute, guys, and just let me see, make sure everybody's ready to go. Brian, you good to go?
I'm good.
Steve, you good to go?
I think Steve's still on mute.
Yeah, you guys can unmute here right now. So just because it's not a topic of discussion. So all right, so we'll do the practice question first. The practice question is trivia is about to start. All right, who made the famous catch to win the 1981 NFC Championship? All right, Steve's got his answer. Brian's got his answer. All right, so Steve, since you answered first, go ahead and let the faithful know who you answered. And you have Clark. Clark. All right. Brian, what do you got, Brian? There we go. Those are 2 correct answers. Good job, guys. Good job. So now we are going to get ready to roll with these questions. These questions vary from easy, medium to hard. I'm not going to tell you which order they are in. You are going to have 5 questions. Each contestant has 10 seconds. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Scott, here we go. Question number 1. How many Super Bowls did the 49ers win during the 20th century? Steven has his answer. Brian has his answer. So let's go with Brian first. Brian, show the faithful what you got. 5. All right, Steve, what do you got, buddy? Steve also has 5. That is a correct answer, folks. We are tied 1-1. Scott, why don't you take us away with the second question?
All right, fellas. See if we can break this tie. Question 2. Who did the 49ers play in Super Bowl 24? Steve has got an answer. Brian, what have you got? Brian's got an answer as well. We'll go with Steve. Reveal your answer for us. Steve gets the Broncos. What about you, Brian?
Cincinnati.
Unfortunately, gents, we have not broken the tie. The answer was the San Diego Chargers. The game was held at the Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, and it was the championship game for the 1994 regular season, and the San Francisco 49ers met the San Diego Chargers in that match. And it was also the first 49ers Super Bowl without Joe Montana. So there you have it, boys. Still 1-1. All to play for going to question 3. Nick?
All right, question number 3, gentlemen. Jim Harbaugh and Jim Schwartz shared a famous handshake following the Week 6 victory over the Lions? What was the final score of that game? Brian has an answer.
No, these questions are savage. Absolutely savage.
All
that's
right.
pretty difficult.
Hey, I told you they were easy, medium, hard. All right, so Brian answered first, so we're going to go ahead with Brian, and let's see what Brian got. Ooh, 26-21. Steven, what do you got? I can't see. 28?
28-24.
28-24. The correct answer was 25-19.
Oh,
Alex Smith's fourth down, 6-yard pass to Delaney Walker gave the 49ers a go-ahead touchdown with 1 minute and 51 seconds left, lifting the 49ers to a 25-19 win over the previously unbeaten Detroit Lions. All right, Scott, take it away with question number 4.
All right, boys. Question number 4. I reckon this one's going to break the tie. I can feel it. Who was the 1989 Super Bowl MVP?
Steve's got his answer.
We've got 2 answers here, so Steve, reveal your answer to us, please. Joe Montana, and you, Brian.
also have Montana.
You also have Montana. Guys, what are you doing to us? Still a tie, and not because, unfortunately, because you got it right. You're wrong again, fellas.
It was Rice.
It was Jerry. It was
Okay.
the GOAT. Nick, you got a question there that's gonna break this tie. Do you feel?
I hope so. We're going to sudden death, boys. All right, guys. Here we go. Hope you guys are Tom Rathman lovers. What word did Tom Rathman and Roger Craig share on the front of their helmets? Oh, we got a quick draw. Oh, Steve's got a quick draw.
I have no idea.
Take a guess, Bri. Steven's got his answered already. Is the quick draw going to be it? All right, Brian. 2 seconds. 10 seconds is up.
I've got it.
All right, let's see. Go ahead, Brian. You're going to show your answer first.
I just guessed Nebraska.
Nebraska. Steven. Huskers. You guys were both on the same page. But the correct answer is Huskers.
Oh,
The correct answer is Huskers. Man, we were down to the nitty-gritty there, boys. Steven came through with a quick draw, though. Hey, guys, that was awesome.
congratulations.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, Brian. That was awesome. That was fun.
Yeah, that was definitely a lot of fun, guys. Yeah, I just man, I thought he was gonna get it, bro. I thought you were gonna pull it out there, buddy. Hey, both of you were on the same page, man. Nebraska and Huskers, man. You were both on the same page. That was awesome. That was a great job by both of you guys. Hey, guys, you guys got anything else? Let's do this real quick. Let's do a 20 this year's prediction for you, game prediction. What do you guys think? Brian, we'll go with you first.
With the record?
Yeah, record prediction.
I'm gonna say 6-10. I think if everything goes right, they'll win. They might go 8-8, but I think 6-10 is a fair prediction.
Okay. Steve, what do you think?
I mean, obviously, I'd like to see some sort of winning record, 9-7, but I think the defense is going to be just stellar. Rashard Robinson's going to go nuts. But I think the offense still is going to need a little bit more time to gel. So I'm going to say 7-9.
Okay. Scott, what do you think, buddy?
I think when we did this on the video round table last week, I think I got 6-10 as well. I think. So 6-10. I'm going to go with that again.
All right. So we got 6-10, 6-10. Guys, I'm optimistic this year, man. I really am. I think Brian Hoyer is going to surprise the hell out of a lot of people this year. I know he's just a bridge quarterback, and he's our way to either whether it's Kirk Cousins or another franchise type quarterback. But I am in agreement that I think our defense is going to definitely be, I'd probably say this year, probably top 15. I don't know if I'd say top 10 yet. I am very high on our defense this year. I'm also very high on the speed and route running of our receivers. A lot of people we don't have a number one. Really worried about that. But you know what a number one does is a number one just demands double coverage and opens somebody else. With a lot of speed, you're going to demand that coverage over the top anyway. So we have a lot of speed. We have guys that can separate, great route running. So I think the receivers are going to be a surprise this year, and people are going to be saying at the end of the year who needs a number one, or Pierre Garcon or Aldrick Robinson or Taylor or Curley or whoever it may be. I think the 49ers are in the right direction. I really do. I think Hoyer's going to play well, but I think the only thing that I'm a little worried about on this team is the offensive line right now. I think that's what I'm a little worried about. It's not the strength of our offense, obviously. But I am going to go one game higher than you guys, and I'm going to go 10-6. And I think we do sweep Seattle this year. That is my bold prediction.
Put them on skates and all that.
Yes.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
And I think that ad that came out is going to make our defense angry when it comes to that team. I'm sure Salah's playing it every day in training camp. I'm sure he's playing it. So I think that's the first video they watched before watching tape. But, hey, guys, man, it definitely was a pleasure. And we got record predictions. We got Steve moving on to round two. And we got our defensive line thoughts. And, man, that was a great time, man. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Awesome. So I'll leave it, like I always do. And once again, thanks for joining us, guys. If you haven't checked anything out, guys, yet, you can find us on Nothing But Nine ERS on Twitter. You can find us at Nothing But Niners on Facebook, Nothing But Niners on YouTube. You can find us on Snapchat, Nothing But Nine ERS. And don't forget, NothingButNiners.com. So check us out there, faithful. We will be your go-to 49er channel for the entire year. Got a lot coming at you. So make sure you join in. Make sure you check everything out. And above all else, stay faithful. We out.